Yo, what's good, guys? Today we're covering the VR news from September 23rd all the way up to the 29th, and this week was massive in VR news. Truly a monumental week with some of the things we have announced here. Starting right off, we had the Meta Connect for 2024, which announced some really cool things, and of course we got the Quest 3S finally being unveiled after being rumored to death for the past couple of months. And as it was rumored to be, it's $299. It's basically a Quest 2, but with upgraded power and mixed reality capabilities, with high resolution color pass-through, new controllers, and most importantly, access to all Quest 3 games. Basically, it's taking the internals of a Quest 3, but with the display and the lenses of a Quest 2. And that what this means is actually they're discontinuing the Quest Pro and Quest 2. So this is going to replace the Quest 2, and then the Quest Pro, I don't really think anyone was that interested to begin with. And what's also some really cool news is that the base Quest 3 is taking a jump up to 512 gigabytes, and they're slashing the price on it to match $499. So that means there's only one Quest 3 to buy and only one Quest 3S. There's no more different storage versions, which I think is huge. A little bummed for me because I have 128 gigabyte of Quest 3 and I'm basically out of storage, but it's whatever. And in more news, Quest headsets are soon going to have automatic pairing with Windows 11 laptops, sort of like how Vision Pro has with imacs. And every year on these Connect conferences, they have some sort of game releases and some game announcements, but this was the driest it has ever been. Because in the past, they'd announced things like Blade and Sorcery coming to Quest, or more importantly, GTA San Andreas, which of course now is pretty much canceled, but back then it was a big deal. They would announce big games there. Now, this year, we probably have the lightest announcements ever. We have Batman Arkham Shadow getting a release date of October 22nd, so that's pretty soon. I'm really looking forward to that one. And it's actually going to be free with a purchase of Quest 3 or 3S up until the end of April in 2025. Next up, we have Triangle Strategy being announced to being ported to Quest on October 31st. Triangle Strategy is a really cool RPG by Square Enix. This is going to be their first VR title, I believe. And it honestly looks really interesting. I like the whole art style so much. It's got that Octopath Traveler art style. Looks really cool. I'm actually going to have to check this one out. Then we have Supernatural going multiplayer. So before, they never really had real-time multiplayer, but now they're going to add it in. And it's going to be really kind of cool. If you're into fitness games and you have other people that are into them, it's going to be a great addition. Finally, we have Orion Glasses. Now, this was a big headliner. This and the Quest 3S were pretty much what made up the bulk of the presentation in terms of VR and AR related news. And this is an insight into the current state of the AR industry. As of right now, we have real glasses in a surprisingly thin form factor, and it does require a wireless computing puck and a neural interface. Now, the neural interface is really kind of, it's kind of like awe-striking because it's like a wristband. You wear it and it kind of gives insight into the computing of where your hands are moving. So it's sort of like an enhancement to hand tracking in a way that you don't need to reach your hand up and do a bunch of things. It's just very simple gestures now. And that seems to me like that's just going to be a game changer if they keep improving on that. Now, the problem is that these units, the Orion units, are estimated to cost around 10 grand per unit just to manufacture. So obviously this isn't even for sale yet, but there's been a ton of hands-on, and I've seen a lot of people call this the first look at a potential successor to the smartphone. And that sounds like a lot of overhyping, but we have never seen a product of AR really this complete before. This is a unique product. We had the promises of the HoloLens, but those were all BS. This is something that actually looks real and you can actually use now. The problem is just getting the price point down. So we could see this in the next couple of years, and Meta themselves said they were expecting the prices of their lenses to go down because as it became a more industry standard, but they haven't yet. And so that's something, if they get these lenses down, then and they get the neural interface more, just better overall, and then they fix something on the cameras. This is a product that's going to have huge ramps towards improvements, and a lot cheaper too as the time goes down. Now, the next presentation we had was the Sony PlayStation State of Play, and given how they've treated PSVR 2 in the past, I was not expecting much. And I wasn't blown away or anything, but I did notice a couple of surprises here, which I was very impressed by. The first being the Midnight Walk, which is a really cool, eerie vibe. It's got an amazing art style, and it's by the same developer actually as Lost in Random, which is another really cool game. I haven't personally checked it out, but just visually, I mean, this developer knows how to make a cool looking game. And this is going to have VR and flat screen versions, and it comes out on PS5 and Steam in spring 2025. Again, I'm pretty sold on this one already, just from the trailer. I mean, it looks pretty cool. Then we had another look at Metro Awakening, which is a huge VR title, coming out November 7th for $40. It comes out on Quest, PS5, and PC. It looks amazing. People have already tried this game out, and a lot of them are calling it VR Game of the Year. But with Arkham Shadow also coming out, it's going to be kind of a good year. It's a good end of the year wrap-up for VR games. Now, the big announcement, I think personally for me, was Hitman World of Assassination is getting a VR version. And this is basically a trilogy of Hitman games, Hitman 1, 2, and 3. And they're all coming to PSVR 2 exclusively from what I can see. And it looks surprisingly good. Now, keep in mind, this is after we already received Hitman 3 in VR on the PSVR 1 and on PC VR years ago, which was pretty much terrible. I mean, it was really buggy, had a lot of problems. And just keep in mind, recently, it's just like, gosh, about 2 weeks ago, we had Hitman 3 come to Quest with a complete remake and a complete overhaul, graphically, visually, all this. And that was even worse. Somehow, it was terrible. I even made a video on it. Gosh, that game's just terrible. I mean, if you liked it, you know, no, I'm not trying to be that guy, but I'm just saying, like, objectively, not a very good game. So Hitman World of Assassination is keeping the original graphics from the trilogy, adding in a bunch of VR interactions. This is being developed by the original studio to begin with, so IOI, and then it seems like, gosh, they have had so many VR versions of Hitman that are complete trash that I think they're just like, okay, one of these times we're going to get it right. They probably just really like VR and they want to see their game really work in that medium. Because there's no way they're making that much money from a Hitman VR that they've had to do it 3 times now. And what's cool about this is it's only a $10 upgrade if you already own a Hitman World of Assassination trilogy. So, I mean, gosh, I'm going to be looking forward to this one. Comes out in December, so that's one to look forward to. Moving on from these 2 main events, in some smaller news, we had Walkabout Mini Golf, which is officially coming to iPhone October 10th for $4.99 and $1.99 for additional downloadable courses. Huge Walkabout Mini Golf fan, huge fan. Cannot wait for this. What's going to be really cool is if maybe like I have some friends in the VR mini golf playing and I'm like on the train or I'm in a car and I just can't play in VR right now, but they're all playing. I just hop on my phone, do a little cross-play with them, and it works great. In terms of VR releases for the week, we had Metal Hellsinger VR for $29.99. Looks pretty cool. Probably not going to check it out myself because it's kind of a lot of money and I don't know, not really my thing, but it does look really neat. Like I may, if they ever do like a 15-minute trial of it, I'd love to check it out. Then we had Starship Home, which is a mixed reality game for $19.99. I did actually get this one, and I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it does obviously get a little repetitive, but it is a full-fledged mixed reality game, and if you like mixed reality like I do, it seems like a no-brainer. Finally, the main one I'll be covering from this past week is Escaping Wonderland, which was again $19.99. I loved Down the Rabbit Hole in the past from like 2019. This is kind of like a standalone sequel, if you will. It's a spin-off, really, and it is awesome. I mean, what I did notice is when you're in the Quest 3, it is a little blurry, but I use this thing called the Quest Optimizer, which I'm sure I'm going to make a video on soon, so that really helped. But I just think this Escaping Wonderland is a really cool game. It's got some great reviews, too. So that's pretty much what I'll be doing for this week. Yeah, thanks for watching, and to wrap things up, one thing I will say is, I don't know if it's been happening, but lately my mic has been doing this really weird thing where it kind of jitters or reaches like certain peaks and cuts out the audio, and it sounds kind of glitchy and just not good. Like, and I was just wondering if anyone has any knowledge on this, could solve it for me. But hey, just thanks so much for watching, guys. Appreciate it.